I'm so bored. Maybe the cooking channel will give me some inspiration.
Welcome to Kristi's Crazy Kitchen. Hi there, I'm Kristi, and welcome to my kitchen. Today I'm cooking something that everyone loves, pizza. This pizza represents a great metaphor that represents my ECS 110 class. Let's start with the dough. This small ball of dough represents me. I came into ECS 110 with a blank canvas, open to new ideas and teaching philosophies. The dough is everything, as it represents the foundation to a great experience. It supports the rest of the marvelous ingredients that we choose to put on top of it. Like ECS 110, it is the base to support my dreams of being a teacher. In this creation of our identities, this class gave me a self-awareness that will help me empower students and enhance my learning. Now that we have the crust, the next step is to apply the red tomato sauce. It is the starting point to a great experience. This red tomato sauce represents my heritage as a Canadian citizen. After listening to my classmates' self-stories, I realized that my perception of Canada is quite narrow-minded, and there's a lot of opportunities for me to grow and change. The first change to my self-identity started in week 3 during a class discussion on what it means to be Canadian. This discussion opened my mind. You could say that I started to make sense of the world by viewing life through what Sensoy and Delangio described as wearing cultural glasses, that is, viewing things from a big picture, the macro norms, to the individual micro perspectives. Now onto the mozzarella cheese. I don't want to sound cheesy, but let's be honest. We live in a world where societal inequalities exist, and where races are discriminated against, not treated fairly, and oppressed. There are people in a society, like white people, who have advantage and receive unfair and privileges that are unearned and unfair. As Peggy McIntosh asserts in her article, Unpacking the Invisible Knapsack, she shows the daily effects of white privilege. Simple things that I have taken for granted, I now know have to think about twice. Take for example this band-aid on my arm. I can choose band-aids that more or less match my skin tone. Can all races do that? I don't think so. These types of messages imply that whites are more important than people of color. These make you go, Like Quinn said in her blog, it's easy to become complacent. We need to make a conscious effort to have these open conversations about the reality of the inequalities. The next step is to add different kinds of meat, which represent the many people that live in Canada. As shown here, all the meats have their own separate bowls, which represent my perspective of race at the beginning of the semester. I saw each race as an individual group that were marginalized from the rest of the society. In reality, Canada has a mosaic and it's all grouped together. As teachers, we need to integrate the 4 steps of courageous conversations about race into our classroom. In order to explore and challenge normative narratives about race, we need to see and hear them in our daily lives, and we have to understand the facts before we make judgments. Both Treaty Ed Camp and the Mythbusters assignment was an eye-opening opportunity for me to explore and challenge what I thought was normal. I realized that I can no longer jump to conclusions. And now for a splash of color. Don't you agree the world needs a little bit more flavor? Just like no 2 pizzas are exactly the same, ECS 110 encouraged me to explore diversity of our society and break down gender stereotypes. Without a doubt, diversity is colorful. Just like these peppers, if every single pepper in the world were the same in every single way, how fun would that be? Boring! Whatever category of gender you belong to, together our differences make a strong and beautiful community. Trevor's in-class discussion about his teacher who lived in a small community and was ostracized for being a homosexual shed light on life different than my own and provided me with new perspectives and mindset. In addition to listening to Laura Budd's class discussion was very inspiring to me. I remember seeing her at the Woman of Distinction Award, and the standing ovation she received after accepting her award indicated that our society is on a way to becoming more inclusive. Another minoritized group is represented by these mushrooms. In the article, Becoming Dishuman, Thinking About the Human Through Disability, I appreciated the author's attempt to educate the reader to understand the power of words. Labels should not determine our society and the understanding of people or predict an individual's future. The authors are correct to point out in their article that society needs to move away from the prefix dis if we want to consider thinking about the human. On my pizza, I didn't label the different types of mushroom, but rather I added them to the pizza that would make a world full of inclusion. Perfect. Just like me, sprinkling a mixture of different types of cheeses on top, so did my ECS class encourage me to work together when Katya would distribute our journals into different seats, allowing us to work together every day. This one action made me break my barrier of silence, push out of my comfort zone, and engage in meaningful conversations with one another, strengthening our collegial bond. With all these new concepts and philosophies, it is now time to let everything melt together and cook. Voila! A pizza that represents the new me. From a simple ball of dough to a complex pizza with many layers, this describes my change in self-identity through ECS 110. Thank you, Katya and my classmates, for making this semester good. That's it for now. Thanks for tuning in to Kristi's Crazy Kitchen. I hope to see you next time.